In the previous lecture, we changed the return value from use tic-tac-toe. We're no longer returning the initial board. So if I head back to my browser, you can see everything is now broken. I have no real strong desire to fix this right now. What I'm going to do is continue on with my tests and write the game logic, and then we're going to come back and fix the UI towards the end. So the next thing we need to do is find some way to update the board. Let's go ahead and do that. What I'm going to do is create a new function. I'm going to call this one makeMove, and this is going to take two variables. We're going to have firstly the column, and that's going to be 0, 1, or 2. So in this case, we have 3 rows, 0, 1, and 2, and each one has 3 columns, 0, 1, and 2. So we're going to have column and row in here, and I think that's all we're going to need for now. We also need some way to keep track of the current move. So what I'm going to do is just create a new variable. I'm going to call that one current counter, and we're going to initialize it to be a ref and just make it 0 for now, or the O counter. And that's the counter that's going to go first. What we're going to do in here is update the board with the new, or create a new board with the new state, and then we're going to push it into that array of the boards up here. So let's see how we might do that. What we're actually going to do is write a test for this, and that's going to let the errors are going to guide our development. So we're going to have a new test for makeMove, and what we're going to do is start off with our initial board and then go ahead and update it with the function. So let's go ahead and create a new board. We're going to do that like this. This is going to give us a problem we're going to see as we work through our tests, but let's wait for the problem to come up and then solve it as we go. The next thing we're going to do is also expose this function from here called makeMove, and we're going to go ahead now and call makeMove in here. So we're just going to say makeMove, and this is going to take those two arguments. I'm going to go on the top left hand corner, so I'm going to say column is 0 and the row is also 0. And what that means is we're going to expect to have this board, but it's going to be updated. So let's go ahead and grab that and write our expected state firstly. I'm going to actually put that at the very top. We're going to say const expected, and that's just going to be this state, and we're going to have that O marker in the top left hand corner. Let's go ahead and write our assertion. So we're expecting the actual value, or the current board, so in this case the current board.value, and that should be equal to our expected result. Let's go ahead and save this, and of course this should fail, and that's a good thing if it does fail, and we are getting a different error which is saying makeMove does not exist. That's because we haven't actually returned it from our composable, so let's go ahead and do that. If I save this one off now, we should have a little bit more of a useful error. And there we go, you can see it's showing us the diff and we're getting the wrong counter. We have nothing there, but we should have this O counter. So let's go ahead and implement that. The first thing I'm going to do is create a new board in here. I'm going to call this one const new state, and that's just going to be equal to a copy of the existing state, which is going to be the current board. So in this case, we're going to grab the last counter. Let's just say boards.value, and that's just going to be boards.value.length minus 1, exactly the same thing we have down here. And then we're going to go ahead and spread that into a new array so we can get an updated version of it. The next thing we're going to do is update this. So I'm going to say new state, and we're going to update firstly the current row and then the correct column, and that's just going to be equal to the current counter. So in this case, it's going to be current counter.value. That's the wrong one, it should be current counter. And now we need to push this into our game state. In this case, the boards array. So I can just say boards.value, and then we're going to say push and push in our new state. With a bit of luck, this is now going to work. Let's save it off and try it out. And we are now green. So what's happening here is we're creating that new state up here. By using this spread operator, we're getting a copy of this array. So it's a new object. We're updating it, and then we're pushing it into the boards array. Because we have this computed property down here, it's going to grab the last entry in this case, which is boards.value.length minus 1. And then we're making that assertion, and everything is updated as expected, and everything is working correctly.